Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to be covering the book of Micah. But before we cover the book of Micah, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe because these videos actually take a really long time to make and you'd be doing me the biggest favor if you actually did do those things. But without further ado, let's cover the book of Micah. Micah is a prophet from a small town called Moresheth. He lived when 3 kings ruled Judah, Jotham, Ahaz, and Hezekiah. God gave Micah special messages to tell people, mostly about the cities of Samaria and Jerusalem. God says, "Hey everyone, listen up, I'm coming out of my holy place. God is stepping down to earth, and when he does, the mountains will melt and the ground will crack like wax near a fire. God is angry because of the sins, bad choices of Israel and Judah. He says Samaria is guilty and Jerusalem too. Both cities have been doing wrong things. God says he will destroy Samaria. He'll smash it like, you know, how you smash Lego pieces. All the statues and gifts people gave to false gods will be burned or broken. God says, I don't want your fake worship." Micah is so sad he cries and wails like a wild animal. He says the punishment is coming not just for He says that the punishment is coming not just for Samaria, but for Judah too, and especially Jerusalem, the capital city. Micah lists many towns in Judah like Gath, Beth, Lephoth, Shaphir, Zaanan, and Lachish, and more. He tells each town that something bad is coming. Some will be ashamed, others will cry, some will run away. All of this is because they did things God told them not to do. Yeah. God says, "Woe to those who think up evil plans at night and do them in the morning. These people want land and houses that aren't theirs, so they take them away from poor people." God says, "Because you do bad things, I'm going to do something bad to you." God will make it so they lose their land. They won't be able to pass it on to their kids. Instead, enemies will take it. And people say, "Stop talking about bad things, Micah. Don't preach like that." And they don't want to hear that God is upset, but Micah says God's words are good for people who do what's right, so why are you upset? God says his people act like enemies. They take their clothes from travelers, kick women out of their homes, and even hurt little kids by taking away their blessings. God says, "Get out of here. This place is no longer yours. They made it a dirty, cruel place, and it's time for it to be cleaned up." Micah says that people only want a prophet who lies and tells them what they want to hear, like, "You'll get more wine." And, they don't want the truth. They just want happy lives. Or, not happy lives. They want happy lies. Even though most of the people are doing wrong, God says, "I will still gather the good ones together like sheep in a pen." He'll break down the gates and lead them out. God will go, in front like their king because he is their king. Micah says, "Leaders, you're supposed to know right from wrong, but you love evil and hate good." He uses a really scary picture, like the leaders are like wild animals tearing skin and flesh off people, cooking them like meat in a pot, which is quite like graphic. Micah says, "One day you will cry out to God for help, but he won't answer you. He'll hide his face because you've been so bad." Micah says some prophets, people who claim to speak for God, only say good things when people give them food or money. Even if they don't if they don't get what they want, they say something bad will happen. So God says, "No more visions, no more dreams. You'll be in darkness." They'll be ashamed because they made things up. Micah says, I'm filled with God's power, justice, and strength. I'm here to tell Israel about their sins. Micah speaks directly to the leaders and judges. You hate fairness, twist everything, and build the city with blood. Judges take bribes, priests teach for money, prophets say, whatever people pay them to say, but they all say, "God is with us, nothing bad will happen." Micah ends with a big warning. Because of all this, Jerusalem will be like a field of weeds. The temple will be a pile of rocks. Everything will fall down. One day, God's mountain, his house and the temple, will be the highest of all. People from all over the world will come to it. They'll say, "Let's go to God's house. He'll teach us how to live right?" I said right 2 times. God will, settle arguments between countries. There won't be any war anymore. People will take their swords and turn them into plows to plant food, and their spears into tools. Everyone will sit peacefully under their tree or by their vines with no fear. Even though other people follow fake gods, God's people will follow him forever. God says, I will bring back the people who are hurt, lost, and far away. I will make them strong again, and I will rule over them from Jerusalem forever. From Jerusalem forever. God says, Jerusalem, the place where kings used to rule, your kingdom will come back. You'll be strong again. Micah says, right now you're in pain like a woman having a baby. You don't have a king. You'll have to go to Babylon. But God says, after that, he will save you and bring you back. Other nations will gather against God's people. They'll say, let's crush them. But Micah says they don't know what God is really planning. God is gathering them like wheat to be crushed on a threshing floor. God says to his people, rise up, you will beat them like strong oxen with iron horns. Yeah. Micah starts by saying, get ready, Jerusalem, you're under attack. Then he says something amazing. A ruler will come from Bethlehem, a little town that, nobody thinks much of. But this ruler has been part of God's plan since forever. Okay? Oh my goodness. God says that he will let his people go through hard times until the ruler is born and gathers his people back. The new ruler, Jesus, will take care of the people like shepherd takes care of sheep. He will be strong because he has God's power. People will live in peace, and he will be our peace. And then if enemies like Assyria try to invade, God's people won't be scared. He'll send 7 or 8 leaders to protect them. They'll guard the land and keep it safe. God's people, the faithful ones, will be like dew on grass, gentle and quiet, but also like lions, strong and unstoppable when needed. And then God says, when that day comes, I will clean everything up. He'll destroy horses and chariots, war stuff, forts and strongholds, things they trusted instead of God, and idols, fake gods, magic spells, and statues. God says, I'll get rid of all things you used to trust. Instead of me, I'll punish the nations that didn't listen. Yeah. God says, stand up, speak to the mountains. It's like he's calling the earth to be the jury in his case against Israel. He says, I have a complaint. My people have been unfair to me. God asks, what did I do wrong? Why are you tired of me? Then he reminds them, I brought you out of Egypt, slavery, and I gave you leaders like Moses, Aaron, and Miriam. I protected you from Balak and Balaam, who tried to curse you. I helped you from Agacia to Gilgal into the promised land, basically. And then the people ask, what should we give God? Should we bring gifts, thousands of ram, rivers of oil, our firstborn child? They're dramatic, trying to guess what will make God happy. And then Micah says the most famous line in the whole book. He has shown you, O man, what is good. And what does the Lord require of you? To act justly, to love mercy, and to walk humbly with your God. God says, listen, I'm calling out to the city. These rich are cheating people with wrong scales and lies. The rich people are violent, the people lie, and no one is honest. God says, you'll eat but still be hungry. You'll plant, but nothing will grow. You'll try and save things, but they'll disappear. Why? Because you followed the evil way, basically the evil ways of bad kings like Omri and Ahab, who led people far from God. And then, Micah says, I feel like a hungry person in a field after harvest. There's nothing good left. Everyone lies, everyone tricks, people are violent, leaders take bribes. Even the best person is like a thorn bush. You can't trust them. Micah says, don't trust your neighbor or even your own family. People are turning against each other, sons against dads and daughters against moms. Micah says, but as for me, I will look to the Lord. I will wait for God to save me. My God will hear me. Micah speaks like someone who has fallen. He says to his enemies, don't laugh at me. I may have fallen, but I'll get up. I may be in the dark, but God will be my light. He admits he sinned, but God will forgive him and will forgive and defend him. Oh my goodness. Oh, bro, I feel all burpy. Micah says God's people will rebuild their walls and their borders will grow. People will come from everywhere. Assyria, Egypt, the sea, and mountains. But the earth will still suffer because people ignored God. Micah prays, God, be our shepherd again. Lead your people like a flock. Take care of them in good places like Bashan and Gilead, lush lands. And then God says he'll show amazing miracles like the time he brought Israel out of Egypt. Nations will be so shocked they'll cover their mouths. They'll be afraid of God and respect him. Micah ends with one of the most beautiful praises ever. God, who is God? Oh my goodness. Who is a God like you, who pardons sin and forgives the wrong things we've done? God doesn't stay angry forever. He loves to show mercy. He throws our sins into the deepest sea, and he will be faithful just like he promised Abraham and Jacob long ago. And yeah, that was the book of Micah. Yeah, did you guys have fun? I like this. Did you? But yeah, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, because these videos actually take a really long time to make, and you'd be doing me the biggest favor if you actually did do those things. But yeah, I feel like that is about it. I thank you, I love you, and God bless.